Yo, hey, what's up guys? In today's video we're gonna talk about the new fusion, of course, on the test server, and I'm gonna tell you where he's actually really trash at, where he's good at, and in which role he is amazing. But first we're gonna quickly go over the skill set so I know that you know what is going on, but I give my opinions later on. So, attacks one enemy 3 times, a single target hit, then a 100% chance for each hit to remove a buff from your enemy. That is nice. Attacks all enemies, and then he puts out increased accuracy before, then he puts decreased defense and block buffs after his attack, and a single target attack that gives the whole team shatter and increased crit damage. He will ignore unkillable, stone skin and block damage, and when you have no effects like that on your enemy, like unkillable, stone skin or something, you do 100% more damage, so 100% less damage in arena than you usually see somewhere else. So, and you get an extra turn if you kill something. And yeah, he is basically immune to all CCs besides sheep. And then he will do some more damage when your enemy doesn't have any buffs. So, of course, you are wondering, where can you use him and where's he trash? How are his multiplayers? Everything like this. We're gonna check out in today's video. But like always, it would be amazing if you press that like button. Subscribe if you haven't done already to let the algorithm know that I actually exist. So, we're gonna test him out, and I'm gonna firstly start out with something that is not good on him, where he is actually really trash. And to do that, I give you a little... Wait, it's actually Kale, a little comparison, and you might think yourself like, why is he using Kale? Yes, there is some reason behind it, and I have to do the nude and all that afterwards, back on it. But that you guys see what I'm talking about, I'm gonna show you quickly Kale for a little example right there. Let's go in. Alright, we're gonna do a little setup. We're gonna do exactly the same setup afterwards, don't worry. We're gonna use all these buffs, debuffs and stuff. My Kale has some good gear right now, but also the Granyt has some really good gear, of course, because I let use the optimizer and then it showed me some gear which is really good, and then I'm gonna use it to test it, so I have a comparison for myself. So Kale is now his turn. We killed already something. We're gonna do this AoE, and you just saw it happen. They just are dead. That's what I mean, kind of. He's a really good one. And now we're gonna check out Granyt again in the same spot, and we're gonna check out his AoE attack. And yeah, you're gonna see it's really bad. It is actually really bad. So, alright. We still have silver cost on the test server. Isn't that kind of hilarious? Didn't I do like a preset somewhere? No, it's not that one. No, I actually didn't, but that's okay. We just put it in. Alright, so... I'm laughing right now, but you're gonna see what I mean in a second. Like 2025 Fusion Champion against the Starter Champion. That's the comparison what we're dealing right now. So we're gonna do exactly everything the same. Gonna put that out, don't worry. We're gonna do the ally attack on the same enemy. Doesn't matter, he's probably gonna die. Yes, because his weak spot is actually his A2. They're still alive. We killed one. And yeah, that is actually not that great. But we have to test something else, because he is not only about like his AoE, he has his other skills. So we're gonna test them out too. What can he actually do? So we're gonna do the same setup as before. Get the decreased defense and the not leech, weaken out there. Get all this stuff out. Alright, kill that guy again. And it was fast. And yes, let's see this skill right there. We have decreased defense and everything up. Boom! Ooh. Like 750,000 is not that bad. And it's more about his thing that he can do with that skill, because it is ignoring like stone skin and everything. And I have another quick... Now wait. I'm gonna just put them quickly out, because I have another thing that I want to test. What if in arena you just don't have all the other champions around him? What will he actually do with that skill? We already saw A2, it's not worth the damage. It's really not worth the damage. So, what could he technically do in Arena by himself when you put some good skills on him? And then you do this skill right here. 319k just raw on high defense champions. It's really nice. Of course you have to subtract 100%. Like you put it in half. And then it will be the thing that you see in Arena. But that is actually nice to hit on a stone skin guy like this. Just the bad part is afterwards when you kill something and you have this AoE attack ready, it's not actually that great. So the multipliers are kind of decent. I wouldn't say too crazy. We still have to check out the A1. And now for his A1, let's see what he can do. Yeah, also wasn't really that great. His A3 seems to be like a really good damage one. His A1 and A2 doesn't really do too much. So for me personally as a damage dealer, he kind of isn't the greatest. But still you can do something with him. And I'm gonna show you quickly. Like for example, we're gonna go into Sand Devil. Because his A3, was it his A3? Is actually nice. So we're gonna do something like this. Of course, gonna sleep. If something resists right now, I'm just like getting RNG'd again. It could actually fail. But first ally attack right there. You saw like big chunk of damage. Right there, another big chunk. We're gonna do another ally attack right there. Another big chunk. So he does some damage. He is not totally useless. He should go in another 10 right now. And then, yeah, it's over. So he can be used for something like Sand Devil. He can be an amazing damage dealer right there. For a short duration of a fight. That is kind of nice. Where can you use him also? In Fire Knight, but I gotta quickly fix the nude. So, which one was it? That one. Alright. So, we already saw his AoE isn't that great. Okay. But you still can do something with him, like Fire Knight 10. If you use the good things about him. And yeah. Damage isn't really the best for him. I can see that already, but he has totally other use cases in here. The debuffs are amazing. He is an HP damage dealer, that means he doesn't die really quick. So you can just not have the most crazy healers in there and all of that. He is a damage booster with his buffs, what he provides you, like crit damage up. And that is really nice about him. The damage by itself, sadly not that great. For Arena, I assume he can still knock everybody out. Like you are not weak hitting with him, then you will probably kill your enemy. If he's under stone skin and you have that purpose for him, no doubt he can do that. Sure. Yeah, in like dungeons and stuff, he's okay. But his AoE doesn't even compete with a Kale, and that is kind of... I don't know what to think about that one. Still, you can get some use out of him. So what we're gonna do right now is first turn is kind of here. Not doing too much, because we just wanna get our counter attack up. So then we kind of start to demolish his shield, get it down, get the damage in, and everything like this. So right here. That is just counter attacks over counter attacks and stuff. Now Nude goes in, no problem. Now we're gonna get an ally attack. We're gonna break that shield down, decrease the turn meter and stuff. Like, it's not completely about the team. I wanna quickly just showcase that I was able to do in 5 minutes a team that actually has him in here. And there are ways to use him. For real, a triple hitter on his A1 has some good damage increase. Then he also does the debuffs that, yeah, it's a good one. So right there, we're gonna do it again. And he does some damage. He is not, yeah. Wait, why didn't he die? Alright, he did it again. Alright, so he did a huge part of damage in here. 3 million. He did almost as much as Nude did. And that's really amazing. Like, it's not to be underestimated. What else do I have for you? I think in the dungeon part, like, there are other dungeon guys. I think you can figure that out. Like, probably Spider. Because the AoE of him to killing some other spiders is not really there. Ice Golem, you usually don't want to have just raw damage dealers, but Iron Twins and stuff, you can do that 100%. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. I made a little team that he is in, and is kind of competing about a Fusion a couple years ago, a Marius, which is really good, and that is kind of the threshold that we want to see. If a champion can be good as those guys, and if they're not, you probably have something better. So I made a quick team, and we have to talk about something quickly, what I'm not so sure about how that actually works. It is the Shatter buff. I'm gonna quickly show you. So I went down here. Yeah, alright. Increase the champion's ignore defense by 7.5 or 15%. I just don't know if it's about when you have the buff, do I get 15% ignore defense just because I get ignore defense? Or will that be added on the ignore defense that I already have? And it's just multiplicative. Like when I have 80% and I get a 15% shatter, is it just 12? Yeah, is it just 12% what I get, or do I get a flat out 15%? But either way, I think Shatter is really amazing in Hydra with him. That is where I think he is really amazing, because of the Shatter and the increase crit damage, right? And those are really nice damage buff thingies. And also he does do a decrease defense plus the Shatter plus not cruelty, a crushing rend for example, or a Razorvark with a cat's gaze. They work really great that you don't need decreased defense by itself anymore. It's just helping a little bit, but you almost go to the edge about having like ignore defense 100%, and that shatter buffs really helps. It is increasable, like you can buff duration increase it without any problems, and yeah, that really helps. So those things plus the block buffs and the decreased defense, he's a Ugo that is basically a damage booster, while also can do kind of nice damage. We're gonna see the damage in a little bit and stuff, but I think he is nice in here. And also, I don't have a team ready right now. I was testing out yesterday and Chimera was down. In Chimera, I think he's also really great. Not as a damage dealer by itself. I took a look at Chimera that he isn't really the biggest damage dealer in there. I think his biggest hits with Mad Hatter A1 was like 450k or something. But the things that he has, amazing. Increased accuracy. You can save up your accuracy values. He has the shadow thing that you do more thingy. Sorry guys, more damage. Then he has also decreased defense, block buffs. Those are all things for trials. He has the buff steal when something goes wrong. When the boss is about, like the Viper form, he steals all your buffs and you just A1 and you got him all back. Or maybe an ally tag in A1 and then the 6 buffs on the boss just disappeared. And he has like increased crit damage that helps you on trials, increased accuracy on trials. That is really amazing. And I think there are probably some teams that can do really well. And in general, in Hydra, I think he is not your damage dealer, but he is one of those guys, you know, the puzzle pieces where it just makes sense to put them in there. You have Astrid, for example. You have Astrid and Ugo. Such a great combo together. But now you can use Astrid and him, or maybe just him and then something else that brings you all the other rest that you need for, while you're still increasing your damage. While he can still do some great damage. Not the craziest, but we will see that in a second. And that's where he's kind of shining, where I think when I do takeovers, I search for those key champions. Like there are always something like, for example, I search for a Krisk. Because just, hey, it's nice to have him, so I know, he has a Krisk. And also, Astrid is one of them. Ugo is one of them. When I don't find the craziest things that are such a good synergy, then I go into other champions that just make sense. And since he has so many debuffs, so many buffs, I think he just makes sense overall. And you know what? Let's finish up that run and do a quick battle. I got 6 ready for ya, you know. Hopefully it goes to the end. It doesn't go always to the end. Like I tested a couple of times, and then we will see the damage. Hey, it looks good. Hey, come on. Yes. 720 million damage. what I do personally, that is not a really high number, but technically it is really nice for just a quick battle quickly. So what did he do? He did 99 million, and I have good gear on him. It is really not the damage. He can help you out to kill off something and just something like this, but he's mainly there to make the others more shine. And I don't know if, for example, the Razorok would do that much damage in this team right now when I just put a Ugo in there. That is amazing. That is really nice. And yeah, of course, Marius was the best one because he's just Marius and he just doesn't suck, you know? So damage, not great. Really not that great. Overall uses, he can be used here and there for some really hard things in the game. For faction wars, probably not that great. But for Chimera, I can see some teams where he is really beneficial in there. He does the buffs, the debuffs that you need, plus doing kind of damage by himself. So your other damage dealer, you probably need to, doesn't need to be that crazy because he can do also some damage. He doesn't die too quick, so that is also really nice. But I think that's overall what you kind of need to know. His damage. Yeah, okay, let's be honest, it kind of sucks. It really kind of sucks. He is really not that great. But overall, he has some use cases in this game, and that's what I like. I want to see something that really helps some people out, even if they start a little bit later, so they can create a new kind of team, what is 2025-ish, instead of just having all these old fusion to generate new cool teams. Like, not new cool, but like generate really nice teams with all the fusions from last time, and the new people can just not gain anything. So at this point, give them the debuffs, all these buffs that they need to get something good in this game, and yeah, sure, probably I will go for him. But yeah, that will be it. Make sure to press the like button, subscribe if you haven't done already, and yeah, have a nice day.